Welcome back to Plants Not Plastic. I'm Nikita, and today we're making sweet potato lasagna. This recipe is adapted from the Engine 2 Plant Strong recipe, which I'll link below. But after making it for years, I've made a few adjustments that simplify the dish while adding even more flavor. It's a classic in my kitchen and one I think you'll love. While sweet potato may seem like an odd ingredient for lasagna, it makes up just a single layer in the dish and pairs well with the other layers of noodles, tomato sauce, vegetables, and savory spices to make a truly kick-ass dish. You'll start by peeling, chopping, and boiling 2 sweet potatoes for 12 minutes, or until you can stick a fork through them and they break apart. Next, you'll want to do your veggie prep, separating your broccoli stems from the crown, dicing the stems and cutting the crown into bite-sized pieces, then dicing your carrots, onion, bell pepper, mincing your garlic, and slicing your mushrooms. For these, I pop the stems out and give myself a flat surface, cut my mushroom tops in half or in thirds, and then slice them. And last thing is you will finally slice your Roma tomatoes. By this time, your potatoes should be cooked, so you'll drain them, mash them, and set them aside to layer into your lasagna later. After spending a generous amount of time chopping, you'll want to cook and soften everything before combining with spices to make your next lasagna layer. Before cooking, struggle profusely to get your cooktop out of the box. Then, in a large sauté pan, cook your garlic, onion, carrots, and broccoli stems over medium-high heat until they just begin to caramelize, about 6 to 8 minutes. Then you'll add your remaining vegetables, the bell pepper, broccoli crowns, and mushrooms. The moisture in these softer vegetables will release as they cook and naturally deglaze your pan without adding oil or any additional moisture like water or broth. You want to cook down your second round of vegetables until their moisture has cooked off and everything just starts to caramelize again, which will take about 5 to 7 minutes. Then you'll turn off your stove and transfer your vegetables to a large bowl for seasoning. This spice mix is a combination of what I consider the most classic spices in my pantry: cayenne, dried oregano, dried basil, which I unfortunately just ran out of, so use your imagination as I add a little bit of nothing, dried rosemary, turmeric, chili flakes, nutritional yeast, chili powder, parsley, paprika, and pepper and salt to taste. The last step of preparation before we build our lasagna is to crack open a can of tomato sauce. Homemade will definitely taste better than canned, and you could add a mix of Italian spices to the canned sauce to give your lasagna even more flavor, but with so many seasonings in the vegetable mix, I find straight out of the can tastes just fine. Before we move on to building, you'll want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you'll start with a 9 by 13 inch casserole dish and spread a layer of your tomato sauce over the bottom to act as a non-stick barrier for your noodles. I typically start sparingly with my sauce and get a heavier hand as I go to make sure it lasts me through all 5 layers of sauce. Then you'll lay down a layer of noodles and cover them with sauce. Layering the noodles between sauce lets you put uncooked noodles in your lasagna rather than having to pre-cook them. Then you'll add the layer of vegetables and cover with noodles and sauce. Next up is a layer of spinach. The original recipe says 16 ounces, but that seems a bit overkill, so I just use an unmeasured but generous layer. Cover them with your sweet potato, and then a last round of sauce, noodles, and your remaining sauce. The final step before baking is to cover the top with your sliced tomatoes. I do this in 4 rows, sparingly at first, and then filling in with whatever's left over. You want to bake it covered for 45 minutes. This can be done with foil, or for a zero waste option, you can use a second casserole dish or a cookie sheet as a lid instead. Now that we've got the lasagna baking, there's just a bit more work to do where you will make your topping. In a blender, combine the cashews, oat flour, nutritional yeast, dried parsley, garlic powder, pepper and salt to taste, and blend into a powder. You'll spread this topping generously over the lasagna after 45 minutes and bake uncovered for an additional 15. After the full hour of cooking, the lasagna will come out piping hot and smelling delicious. We'll let it rest for 10 to 15 minutes and cut into it for a taste test. This lasagna is delicious and full of flavor, the best combination of savory from the vegetable mixture, sweet from the sweet potato and bell peppers, and rich from the cashew topping. It's great for sit-down dinners, family gatherings, and the holidays. For how it stacks up against an alternative, my recipe compared to both a non-vegan option or a recipe that uses vegan substitutes, so things like vegan sausage, vegan beef, and vegan cheese. It is almost half the cost, has 3 to 6 times more fiber, and you get to eat about 3 times as much of it for the same number of calories. So that's it for today's recipe. If you try it out, let me know in the comments or elsewhere on social media. And don't forget to subscribe, click the bell, give this video a thumbs up, and come back next time. Bye.